So the Torah tells us, Usfartem lachem, there's a special mitzvah to count Sfirat HaOmer. It used to be mitzvah d'oraita. Ravad Yosef says today it's no longer mitzvah d'oraita, it's mitzvah d'Rabbanan. It's machloket, some poskim still say that this is a mitzvah d'oraita, but Lamaaseh you have a mitzvah to count 50 days starting from Pesach. Right, the second night of Pesach, you have a mitzvah. The Torah tells us from the times you bring the Omer Tufa, Sheva Shabbatot, Timimot. It has to be 49 complete days. 49 complete days. Until the Shavuot, and the Torah calls it Chamishim Yom, 50 days. So the first question starts is, what is it? What do you mean 50 days? Why is it 50 days? So that's question number one. Second of all, why is it connected? Why Sfirat HaOmer is connected to Shavuot? What's the connection between Sfirat HaOmer and Shavuot? So the answer is, if you remember, the Korban that's brought on Shavuot and Sfirat HaOmer are two different Korbanot. Sfirat HaOmer will bring Omer. Omer is a measurement, special measurement of barley. They will go the second night, as soon as the second night of Pesach comes in, they will go outside and the Bet HaMikdash, they will have a whole ceremony. A lot of people used to gather, they used to cut the Ktzirat HaOmer, they used to cut the Omer, which is the barley. Omer is worth of barley, and they used to bring it as a Korban. But on Shavuot, what was the Korban? We learn the Gemara, and there was Shtei Alechem, 2 loaves of bread made from wheat. What's the reason? Chachamim tell us is because on Shavuot, whenever we left Egypt, we just left Egypt. Pesach, we just left Egypt, we start counting, then we are still considered like animals because barley was animal food. You're still like an animal yet. Just because you're free does not mean that you are a fully fledged person. When you become a full-fledged person like Adam, whenever you get the Torah, on the 50th day when we get the Torah, we are bringing wheat. Wheat is something humans eat. That's why this is considered, this holiday is considered one to another. And that's why, by the way, we explain why we eat egg on Pesach. There's a lot of people eat eggs on Pesach. It's a minhag to eat eggs. Why eggs? To explain the same concept. Because eggs is something, a bird has 2 births. First, the egg is born, and then the chicken is born. So therefore, we eat an egg on Pesach, on Passover night. Why? To remind us that we are still just an egg. We didn't hatch yet. When are we going to hatch? On Shavuot. Shavuot is when we hatch. Shavuot is whenever we are going to be born. So that's when we be born as a nation. So therefore, this Shavuot and Sfirat HaOmer are very connected. It's very connected. To such an extent, the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, says that these days are considered like a Chol HaMoed. It's like the first day of Yom Tov is Pesach, and the last day of Yom Tov is Shavuot, but they're connected, they're interconnected. And the middle days, 49 days, is like Chol HaMoed. Can you imagine that? It's a very, very holy days, these 49 days. But why the Torah says 50th day? Don't we count 49 days? Why say 50? The Torah says 50. We don't count 50 days. You count 50 days? No, we count 49 days. Why 50? So the answer is because 50 is like number 8. Why do we give the Brit Milah on the 8th day? Do you know? Because number 8 represents above the nature. 7 days of the week, 7 is represents this world, and 8 is already something above this world, above the nature. So therefore, we also say it's somebody who counts Sfirat HaOmer, he goes above the nature. You do 49 days, that's natural. Then there's 50, number 50 is above nature. That's why 50. That's what 50 represents. But today we want to discuss a little bit in depth the secrets of what happens when you count. What's so special about counting? What do I get by counting? So what the Torah says count. So what's in it for me? The real reason I'm getting to it is because it's not so hard to not count every day. Is it hard? People will tell you it's hard. How many people make it every year? 49 days. It's so easy. Why am I saying it's so easy? It's because there's so many reminders. You have reminders on your phone. You have apps. You have chats. You have people reminding you from all over the place. After Shacharit, they remind you. But still, people lose it. People fall out on day 30, day 20. Some people even on the first week. What's going on? Why? What's so hard? The answer is because we don't understand the importance of it. We don't really care enough, I guess. So let's understand the importance of it, and therefore we'll understand. The Mikubalim are telling us, let's start, I guess, with the Zohar. The Zohar tells us in Parashat Emor, page 97a, 97b actually, that says if a person who counts 49 days and doesn't miss a day, he's going to be Rashum B'Sefer Zichronot. He's going to be written down in the book of remembrances, so to say, and he will live out the year. He will live out the whole year if you want to guarantee. Right? One person told me he went to a yeshiva in Israel, and his yeshiva, Rosh Yeshiva used to tell him, he says, if you come for Shavuot and you stay up the whole night and you do the tikkun properly, don't bother. You don't even need to come to Rosh Hashanah. You don't need to count the Rosh Hashanah. Because technically speaking, you really have a guarantee to live out the year when? If you count 49 days, as the Zohar says, non-stop, every day, and you stay up the whole night, and you go to the mikvah, you technically are guaranteed almost to live out the whole year, as what Arizal writes. But seemingly the tikkun of the Shavuot is very much dependent on how you counted, if you counted all 49 days or not. Very, very important. So by counting, also, what's the reason why 49 days? What's the reason? The Zohar explains is because we leave the 7 levels of Tumah. Because in order to leave impurity, you need 7 days. Shiva Nikim, we call it. When a woman is impure, she counts 7 clean days, and then she's pure, right? 7 clean days. So 7 represents you count 7 days and you're pure. So why we do 7 times 7? You do 7 times 7. Why we need 7 times 7? It's because there are 7 types of impurity in the Torah. Can you know the 7 types of impurity in the Torah? There's impurity of met. If somebody dies, you touch a dead person, what happens? You become tameh. If a person, that's one. The nida, woman is a woman that has a nida, that's also tumah in the Torah. We're going to read soon in Parashiyot. Zav is also another emission. Used to be by males, used to be called a zav. By women, it's called a zava. That's number 4. Number 5, we're going to Parashat Tazria. We're going to learn death. Nida, zav is the number 4. Zava is the female version. That's number 4. Number 5 is Yoled, the woman gives birth. It's a different, totally different tumah. For a boy, the Torah says it's 7 days, and for a girl, 14 days. And then there is the tzarat. Tzarat, the special nega bahabasar. So you have a tzarat on your flesh, and then you can have tzarat on your property, which is your house or your clothing. Those are the 7 impurities. By us counting 7 days times 7, says the Zohar, you are actually removing yourself from the impurity, from the yetzarara. There was impurity. So therefore, these days are very, very important to count. The Zohar, not the Zohar, the Mikubalim are telling us there's something much, much deeper that's happening here. So I have a book here written by Rav Nissim Peretz. Rav Nissim Peretz was one of the Mikubalim in Israel, died. He writes in his book Pardes Nissim, and he writes in the name of Torah Hacham, Rabbi Chaim de la Rosa, who says that on the Leila Seder, what happens Kabbalistically is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking you for on 49th on Pesach, and he's giving you a gift, and giving you a spiritual gift. He's raising you all the way to the highest level on Pesach. And on Shavuot also, Hashem is giving you a gift. He gives you the Torah. We get the Torah as a gift. So we have a gift on Pesach, and we have a gift on Shavuot. But what do you do? What do you have to do to earn these gifts? You gotta count 49 days. You must count 49 days. That's your work. That's your job. Today was my rabbi's yortzeit, Rabbi Walkin, and he used to say, what's the reason? The simple pshat, we forgot to say simple pshat, of why you have to count 49 days. Because he says sfirah is something, it's called consistency. A lot of times people don't know how to be consistent, do something on a very constant basis. Very important to find something in Avodat Hashem is telling you. You want to receive the Torah, you want to grow in Torah, you have to learn consistency. You got to be able to do something every single day, no matter what. No matter what. A lot of times we are very emotional. We're very emotional people, right? Especially Sfaradim, we're very emotional. We love lovey-dovey. We love people to hug us, happy, this and that. So sometimes we lose that consistency. We gotta push ourselves. You gotta push. You gotta know that in order for me to grow, you gotta be consistent. People know that in real life, right? If a doctor tells you gotta take antibiotics and you gotta take it for 10 days, are you gonna skip a day? This is not going to work if you skip a day. You got to take it every day. If a doctor gives you cream, he tells you got to put a cream for 2 weeks. Are you going to put it on? Are you going to put it on? If you know you got to go to work, if you know you have a job, you're going to go to work every day. You're going to go to work every day. The same thing works in spiritual. If you want to grow spiritually, you got to make sure that you put effort on the spiritual level every day. You got to do avodah. And this is so simple. How long does it take to count Sfirat Omer? 30 seconds? I don't think it takes more than a minute for more people. All you need is the blessing and the number, and that's it. Everything else is extra. You don't really need to do that, but it's good, but you don't have to. So therefore you see that work consistency is very, very important. You must learn to be consistent, because that in order for a person to learn Torah, to accept the Torah, Hashem wants to see consistency. Consistency. Some people cannot do something on a constant basis, all the more so for 7 weeks. But if a person goes through it, it's a huge accomplishment. Hashem says, you deserve the Torah. You deserve the present of the Torah. You deserve it. But on a deeper level, Rabotai, let's understand what's going on here. According to Kabbalah, if you ever seen a Kabbalistic Siddur, have you ever seen a Kabbalistic Siddur? There's a lot of Kavanot, there's a lot of Hashem's names. You ever seen a Kabbalist daven? No, he sits there, his davening is very, very long. Interesting that by Sfirat HaOmer, they don't do any kavanot. Did you know that? For 49 days, they don't do any kavanot. No kavanot from the Arizal, from the Rashash, nothing. When do they do kavanot? They only do kavanot one time. And that is when? Sfirat HaOmer. Why they do kavanot Sfirat HaOmer? Says Rav Nissim Peretz. Says not.
They don't do kavanot.
They don't do. But one mitzvah of the whole day, they do is just Sfirat HaOmer. Why? They don't do kavanot for talit. They don't do kavanot for tefillin, not for shacharit, not for any other mitzvah, except Sfirat HaOmer. Why? He says by you counting Sfirat HaOmer, that Sfirat HaOmer light goes to every single thing in the world. I mean, every single mitzvah out there. Every single thing covers the whole thing, the whole creation. And he quotes Rav Nachman Breslov. He says, whenever a person counts Sfirat HaOmer, even the trees in the forest feel it. They feel it. They feel it. It says, they're counting it. They're counting Sfirat HaOmer and the trees in the forest, which means to say that the mitzvah is so powerful, it permeates throughout the whole creation of Hashem. That's how powerful it is to say Sfirat HaOmer. So a person who says Sfirat HaOmer, you don't realize what you're accomplishing. You realize that, you know what, one mitzvah is so powerful, it's so powerful that it affects what? All the mitzvot koyilu. If you have kavanot, if you have proper kavanah, you have all the kavanot, all the mitzvot, and the talit, and the tefillin, and the shacharit, and arvit, mincha, all the mitzvot that you possibly can do. So can you imagine that? It's not just another mitzvah. It's not just another mitzvah. It's something so powerful that we don't realize the importance of it. That's why we say, oh, you know what, forget, I'll do 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later. Before we know it, we go to sleep and we forgot to count. So it's very important not to count. If you're really serious about spiritual growth, you're never going to miss it. You're never going to miss it. So that's what we're saying, Rabotai. Kabbalistically, you have a lot to gain. You have a lot to gain. We said that a person is actually, it's very much part of the connected to Tikkun of Shavuot, what you're accomplishing in Shavuot and 49 days later. And it's so simple and every day, every week, every single day you count clean days. You're cleaning yourself from a spiritual dirt, from spiritual tumah. And every week you finish it, and 7 times 7, you're going to be clean. Come Shavuot, you get the Torah as a present. You stay up all night, you go to the mikveh, you go to the whatever you have to do, and then you will, B'ezrat Hashem, live out the year. You're going to have a guarantee to live for the next 12 months. Can you imagine that? 12 months you have a guarantee from the Arizal, from the Zohar, to if a person stays up the whole night. That's assuming he counted 7 clean days, the Shavuot days. So therefore, Rabotai, Sfirat HaOmer is very, very important mitzvah. We leave you off in a very interesting segula. There's a segula that's brought down. I'll tell it to you now because sometimes it will be too late if I tell it to you later. What's the segula? It's brought down by Rav Avram Chamwi, one of the Sfari Mikubalim, and also brought down by all the Sifrei, Rav Mutzafi brings it. What is it? Very interesting. He says you take on the first day of Sfirat HaOmer, which is when it's going to be? Sunday night, right? In a few days from now. You're going to prepare, you go home, you take a bag of salt. A bag of salt. Can you carry on Yom Tov? You can carry this on Yom Tov. You're going to put a small Ziploc bag, you're going to put a pinch of salt, and you're going to take a little bit of piece of afikom and matzah from the first night, right? From the first night, you're going to break it. You're going to put the salt inside the matzah in the bag. And it says you're going to hold this bag during the first Sfirat HaOmer, and you're going to read all the psukim, how they used to cut the barley. I used to bring it. You could read all the psukim and you count by counting. It's a segula. Then this thing has some sort of enormous power, enormous energies, like a segula, like a talisman. What is it? It says it protects from the old davara, from sicknesses, kishufim, which means witchcraft, from ayin hara, and a long life. So it's a very, very important thing to prepare yourself to get it. And some say you should hold it all 49 days. Try to hold it. Every time you count it, try to count it. And then once you do that, done with the Sfirat HaOmer, at least the first night, if not every single night, if you can count, if you can carry in your pocket, then you can carry it. You can leave it in the car. You can leave it wherever you need to go. Carry with you. It's always going to be a protection, a spiritual protection. That's how important is Sfirat HaOmer, Rabotai. It's not just another mitzvah. It's not, okay, whatever, it's something we have to do. There's something deep that's happening to our neshamot. Something very, very deep. Something that's actually going to play out our whole year, our spiritual year. How Torah, how much do we care, how much we want to grow in spirituality, all depends how much we care to count every single day, 49 days of Omer. So let's take upon ourselves to make sure we never miss a day, and we'll B'ezrat Hashem come to Sfirat HaOmer, come to Shavuot with counting these 49 days, not missing a day.